Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, my next guest has dyslexia, and for many years he saw it as a setback. Now he sees it as a superpower. We'll explain next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, if you're a child with dyslexia, you can get bullied at school. You can certainly go into a downward spiral of self-pity and regret. But my next guest has turned it into a superpower, and now he's teaching people of all walks of life all over the planet that you can turn whatever you see as a possible setback into your superpower. Dylan Smith, D is for Dyslexia, is the name of his company. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff. You got me here to Dallas.
Well, we're thrilled to have you here, and I started to watch your videos, and I'm just going to warn my audience in advance, he is a rock star, and he is just going nuts on the stage. So let's start at the very beginning. When did you know you had dyslexia?
It was very known, in middle school I didn't know, but when I was in high school, we had, freshman year I didn't know how many letters there were in the alphabet, and I was struggling big time. We're talking, I had to go in before class, I had to skip my lunches, skip my gym, stay after, and I was still getting 50s. And I go home and do homework for 5 hours, and I'm like, how am I putting in triple the amount of hours, and I'm getting not even a quarter of what my peers are, and they're putting in half an hour on a math homework. So, looking back, I'm very grateful because I literally was forced to build my networking skills, which is what allowed me to excel today. But I knew something was wrong. My father knew something was wrong. So he had me reevaluated in 10th grade, and it was like, your son's got dyslexia. I was on the wrong meds for 10 years.
Wow.
And we had to stop everything and realize the schools were treating me for ADHD when it wasn't even ADHD. So I was being treated for the wrong thing on the wrong meds for something that's not even related.
You were telling me before the show, it's kind of like the Jetsons. At the beginning of the Jetsons, okay.
Yeah, so if you open up a textbook for a dyslexic, because I'm severely dyslexic, in like science class we'll say, and there's like 200 pages on each side, and you stare at it, you get dizzy because the sentences will go like this, and they'll do this, and the letters inside will flip. So there's been times where reading, I'm actually like sick, I'm nauseous, I'm dizzy. And then you got the teacher going, oh, try harder. Why are you not following along? Why are you falling behind? Are you joking around in class? Are you paying attention? And you're just trying your best.
And then something profound happened to you in 2021. What happened?
In 2021, I had realized that, somebody always has it worse. And, I was adopted twice, misdiagnosed, put on the wrong meds for 10 years, barely graduated high school, and, we had COVID. So I was classic COVID, and I had time. So I fell into a YouTube loop of motivational speakers and business leaders. And I felt like very connected to it. You're extremely connected. So I was like, oh, why do I feel connected? And one of them had said, go run and your mind will unlock. So I ran. I went couch to 4 miles one night. And then within a week, I was doing 8 miles of the weighted vest.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Why do I resonate? I used to run to like Tony Robbins talks, Ed Mylett talks. And I was like, somebody has it worse. And I went through that, and I made it out of high school, and I had just landed an internship. I can help people. I know how to get through it. I know the programs. I know the people. I know the doctors. I know the tutors. So I was like, why don't I just make selfie videos? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to post a selfie video once a week, and if I get 1 like, it impacts 1, I can post next week. Like those small wins. And it has grown beautifully in these last 5 years.
Yeah, you're a nationally known speaker now. Let's pull up this website, and as we stroll down the website, what kind of groups do you like to speak to?
I've had the pleasure to speak to a bunch of schools, Catholic schools, public schools. I've been able to go to daycares, and I've also been able to go to business conferences and bigger theaters and arenas and colleges. And it's funny because this year I started speaking at colleges, spoke to 3 different colleges, but I never went to college.
Wow. I have to imagine that after the speech, people come up to you and say, you touched me. I mean, what are some of the compliments that you've received?
I get emotional thinking about that. What a great question, because Me and something that stands out is just recently happened. We went on tour this last year across the United States, and me and my videographer were at this thing in Nashville, and I'd gotten off stage. It was the biggest stage of my life, real celebrities, and I was like really accomplished, really hyped. And this woman had come up to me in tears, like almost broken, thanking me for my talk, thanking me for coming to Nashville, and like shared how I had impacted her. And my videographer got a video of it, and it was a very genuine thing, and I like felt like you could feel how it had impacted her. I've had, the first thing that I ever experienced was I sold out my first theater in 2022, and I had somebody come up to me afterwards and said, I promised myself I wouldn't commit suicide until after I came to your event. Now coming, I realized there's more to life. So like he'd given me credit for saving his life over a talk. So it's like, the perspective is like, you never know how you impact somebody. It could be big, it could be small. To you could have done something small, but it impacted them humongously. So the way I address people is very intentional.
I want you guys to see how brilliant he is. Let's play a clip.
This is what your friends or you are going through right now, and now your friends will understand. So maybe at the end of that tour in Virginia, I got some great feedback, but what made me so incredibly happy was a little third grade girl walked up to me, and she looked at me and she was all teary-eyed, and she goes, "Dylan, thank you so much for coming to St. Bridget's. You changed my life and you inspired me today." And it was crazy. I'll do that for the rest of my life if I can get that. So if I can do that, now the parents and the board aren't coming into these meetings on defense. They're coming in offense, like, hey, how can we help your kid out? All right, we're going to work as a team. We're going to accomplish this. We're going to make it happen. And now the kids aren't being called the stupid kid. They're not being told they can't do things. They're not going to be told that they're not going to be good enough. Their friends are like, let's figure it out. Let's help you. So at the end of that tour, the whole school knew exactly what to do to make those kids successful in the academic setting and then move it on to the real world and let their friends know the perspective that us dyslexics, I had to do tutoring. I skipped my lunches. I skipped my gym. I'd go after school. I was wrestling. Wrestling was my only escape. That's it. Wrestling was the only escape in the day where I was just Dylan. Like, I was a team member, right? I'm not the stupid kid. I don't know how to read. My homework's failing. But I was a team member. And then when my mom came up and she's like, I got a letter from the principal. You have to get your grades up a certain amount to stay on the wrestling team. I was like, are you kidding me? My one escape is going to be taken away from me because I'm busting my butt just to get by, right? So I do probably 3-4 hours extra than all my peers, and I'm still getting 40s. They get gym, they get recess, they get lunch, they get to hang out after school, and they still get to be a part of a team. I have none of that, and I still cannot be on the team. Are you kidding me? So that was crazy. So when I got to be in that meeting, they told me 70s I could be on the team. That was the win. That means I could keep going. You know what? We accomplished that. I can take on high school, and it's not going to be as hard as I thought it was going to be. I will succeed, and I will show everybody what defying all the odds means. Thank you guys so much. I am Dylan Smith.
What strikes me most about that is you get emotional, and even you watching that video, I can see tears in your eyes.
Yeah, the power of vulnerability is like when you connect with somebody on a human level, it's like, it's crazy. It's like that was 3 years ago. Like my skills, my presence, my stages, not even remotely close to that. But like the reason that's so special to me is my grandfather and family. That was my first event. Shawn Michael Crane. I filmed him in for that. He was our headliner. And I had sold that room out, and my 80-year-old grandfather got to see it. And then, like, the chair on top was the standing ovation.
Wow. Wow. I'm so impressed with you. We're going to show a clip, and then I'm going to have you talk about it. Let's play it now.
I wanted to talk about a story that I have is for 5 years, my biggest goal on my goal board was to speak at my home school. I was speaking at small events, small gatherings, networking events, rooms of 20, 25 people. And then finally I got an email last year that, hey, Mayapack, the school that I went to in my home backyard, is willing to have me come speak to the entire district. And when I got that, I got paid to go there and speak. Had an awesome outcome, an awesome result, standing ovation, where I basically won over my entire hometown. And it was great because I got to go back and speak to each individual grade. But the biggest opportunity that I had in my career at that point was right in my backyard. And then after that, a bunch of doors opened. I got to go on tour, I got to speak on some cool stages, meet some cool people, walk some carpets, be on some billboards, and speak in more schools in New York City, just all based off of the credibility and resume builder that my own backyard gave me.
What was that like to go back home?
What a beautiful question. So I'd wanted to do it. That was like my big audacious goal. I'm huge on goals. My team would tell you, like, I write my goals down. I don't sleep enough. All I do is watch Ryan Serling and Kevin Hart. And it's like, I want to be unrecognizable every year. And when you break it down, in 90 days, you can change your life if you take it seriously. And my big goal was I want to speak my home school. I want to bring the impact and perspective back to where I had struggled so kids in my hometown don't struggle the way I did. So I walk in and I had to give a PowerPoint. It was the first contract I had secured. It was a couple $1,000s, and it was like the whole district stack. So we're talking 400 or 500 people, all hometown though.
Wow.
So everybody knows who I am before I walk in, and now I'm walking in as this big figure. And I had practiced this. My dad's gonna be happy. I practiced the PowerPoint like hours. And my dad's like, have you prepped? Have you tested? Like, what if the PowerPoint dies? And I'm like, I got it. And he's like, okay. So we get up on stage, and the bulb in the PowerPoint died, literally, in front of 500 people. And I look to my left, and the AV guy's like, you're on. And I'm like, cool, we got this. And I gave a 40-minute talk, my whole story, my whole district, 500 people. And I got a 2 to 3 minute standing ovation where there's clips online where I just cried and walked across the stage and received it. And after that, the impact was so great that my town was like, oh, will you come back and speak to each individual grade? And I was like 5 times the price. It said done. And now I'm like a hometown hero. And it was like one of my favorite rappers had said, you know, the first step to becoming a big figure is lock down your hometown. And I did beyond that, but I did it in a fashion where it's not like I'm rapping about things that don't matter. I'm helping kids who feel alone. I'm helping people. I'm inspiring people. And, you know, that the opportunities that built, I mean, I've never heard of a 23-year-old kid going on tour across the states being a speaker. And we did that this year. And we landed an Apple TV show, and we're here. Like, it taught me that when you chase something with purpose and passion, there's no ceiling.
They're going to make a movie over you one day. Okay, who stars in the movie?
Ryan Osborne.
Okay. All right, we have a couple minutes left, so I want you to look into the camera on the left and talk to that young person who's struggling, who has self-doubt. What do you want to say to them?
If you feel like you're alone and you're struggling, trust me. If things are really bad and hard right now, it means something really good is about to come. 1, I want to let you know you're not alone. 2, I want to tell you the biggest life lesson I ever learned is you are enough. And it's okay to love yourself. It's okay to support yourself. It's okay to be proud of yourself. That is something new I just learned. I used to be proud and feel guilty about it because I want to be selfless. And, you know, speaking up about it. What you go through is what qualifies you the most to help other people in those experiences. And I love you, and you've got this. I believe in you. And if nobody else does, I do.
Wow, what a great, drop the mic. It's a great way to end this show. We're also going to leave you with the website so you can book them for your next big speaking engagement. D is for dyslexia.com, the great Dylan Smith. Thanks for coming on the show.
Jeff, what a pleasure.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.